Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hello, New Life family and friends. It's actually Chris in for Steve today. And we've had this incredible thing happen that many of you have already heard of, but we want to keep talking about it because of the lifeblood that makes New Life go. And a few weeks ago, I had a chance to speak with just a remarkable circle of people. And me and some others we're just there to encourage, to support. But these people in return are deeply, deeply invested in what we do and who we are. So much so that, Larry, what have they done as a result of that?
Well, they made a gift. They made the gift conditional on you folks giving what they gave. They gave $459,000. We've had $187,000 come in, so we're $271,000 to go.
That's how good my talk was, right?
Yeah, that's exactly. So you're coming back this week.
Okay.
So, folks, we've had really good response, and we need really good response to finish this up by May 31. So would you please consider giving to this? It's, I said yesterday, think about the first-time things that you have done. Think about jumping in the pool off a diving board. Think about riding a bike. Think about going on a roller coaster. All these things that you do for the first time. Rarely do you regret it afterwards.
Yeah.
And so we need a lot of first-time people to give.
Yeah.
And I'm encouraging that. And I want to read a quick testimony and give Alice her chair back here in a second. This is written just real recently. I'm a retired pastor, having served for over 40 years in the local parish. I was also a certified marriage and family therapist. We're continually encouraged by your scriptural faithfulness in dealing with the issues people present, and we're equally impressed with the caring and wise counsel you offer to the callers. The sensitive, experienced, very insightful responses offered by your counselors continue to be a strong source of hope for us and inspires us to want to be a part of New Life, to be part of our charitable giving this year.
That's great.
So, folks, I hope you line up with that thinking, and you might remember us as part of your charitable giving. Every gift will be matched. Call 800 New Life. We're giving away, the book is Dave's
Dave
book?
Stoops.
Yeah, Dave Stoops' book. You Are What You Think.
Right.
So make a gift, get a double, get the book, and we really appreciate it.
Again, I would have to say, Larry and Chris, New Life is a listener-supported ministry.
Amen.
And that is why New Life is asking for your support to be on the radio, to be able to conduct all of these workshops that New Life does, and to be able to float that boat costs millions of dollars a year. And it is the way New Life is able to manage all that is through the generous donations
For
of the
33
people.
years.
For 33 years, the generous donations of the people who listen and partake of the ministry.
And
Absolutely.
God will see this through for us. I know He will.
Yeah.
Well,
But He does it through people.
Well, one of the things that we see in Scripture over and over and over again, once you see it, you can't unsee it, and that God's economy is an economy of abundance, not scarcity.
There you go.
But God works in partnership. We can even go as simple as the fish and the loaves. But He doesn't do it without our partnership of the fish and the loaves.
That's right.
It's our job to bring the fish and the loaves.
Exactly.
It's
That's
His
exactly
job to
right.
multiply it.
And He always is faithful to do that. So
Thank you for
please
this
bring
time.
us your fish and your loaves. We already are matching that and multiplying that. And we know that God is faithful to do even above and beyond what we're asking so that we can keep helping people with hope in life's hardest places.
Thank you, everybody who has been giving and will give.
And we'll be right back.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn from New Life Live, and Chris Williams and I are doing the Emotional Freedom Workshop. I don't know of anybody that wouldn't benefit from emotional freedom. We're all bound or stuck or struggling in some area. What are we going to do there, Chris?
Just really help people get clarity around the places where they're stuck in their life. They sort of circle the same mountain of disappointment over and over and over again. You're going to be able to see that mountain clearly and get to a new place of what we call emotional freedom, which is simply I can feel in the world, build a relationship to it, and know what to do with my experiences.
The New Life Emotional Freedom Workshop is Saturday, August 14th. Steve Arterburn and Chris Williams will present information on trauma, depression, codependency, and more. And small group leaders will help you process the information you learn. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or register online at newlife.com. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. And all right, I'm joined today, Dr. Alice Benton,
Ladies and gentlemen, hello. Great to be with y'all.
Milan Yerkovich.
Thank you, Chris. Good
Hey.
to have you here, and Alice.
All right, so hey, let's go help some people, all right?
Let's do it.
All right, let's help Pamela in Atlantic City, New Jersey, listening on WFIL. This is like looking at the board sometimes. It reminds me, I just had an eye test, and so it's like, it's a little bit further right now. And so it's like, oh, am I passing the eye test? So not so much. So anyhow, Pamela, talk to us. What's going on?
Yes. Hi. Thank you for taking my call. If it's okay, what I'd like to do is ask my question and then give you a little background.
I actually like that. I like that pattern, so go for it.
Okay. What I'm looking for today is a little bit of advice and maybe a resource to help me help my husband relate to his 80-year-old father who has beginning dementia and hearing loss. They've been very close for many, many years. His dad was the best man in our wedding. They're fruit farmers. They've worked together all my husband's life, like a hand in a glove, until about 10 years ago, his parents turned the farm over to us. And my husband and his dad really went through a rough spot because his dad had some difficulty with some of the changes my husband had to make at the farm to keep it in business. And also, I think it was tough for him to take directions from his son after being the boss all those years. But
Yeah.
now we fast forward, 10 years, and now he's getting confused sometimes, and he's kind of hard of hearing. He's 80 years old, but farmers never retire. I don't know if you know that. But anyway, sometimes he can take directions, but a lot of times he does the exact opposite. And the problem is my husband assumes that he's doing it on purpose because he says, well, if it's something he wants to do, he does just fine. But if it's something I tell him to do, he does the opposite. So I've tried to help my husband stay soft-hearted so that he'll have no regrets when his dad is gone. And I've told him, just assume it's never on purpose. Just stay compassionate. And I guess I'm wondering, is there anything that my husband could read or watch or listen to that would stimulate what it's like for a person with dementia to help my husband be more compassionate to the situation?
Yeah, well, I think, that's a great question, because when there is a new subject or topic that I don't know about, I do what you do. I ask people is there a documentary out there? I really like documentaries, and of course, I want to vet them and vet them well, books and resources, but I want to go back to something I think is really important here, and that is, it is amazing to hear about your husband's relationship with his dad and how close it was and how rich it was. And that as his dad as his father has gone into these sort of sunset years of his life, that letting go process has been very, very difficult. And but I also think that your husband's letting go process has been difficult as well.
Oh, yes. He's grieving the relationship they used to have.
Yes, yes. And so, actually, earlier today, Mila and I were talking about this as he has let go of some things in his life. And so, Milan, what direction, what advice would you give?
Well, Pamela, I'm going to answer Chris's question, but in a moment. And that is, there's a part of me that wants to discuss your caretaker role in this. You're trying to do something to help your husband figure out how to deal with his dad. And I don't even know if your husband wants that. But it would seem to me that your desire for him to be the good guy, always acquiesce, always assume the good things, is not always the right thing. Because I went through this with my mom, and I had to tell her, "I'm sorry, Mom, that's unacceptable." Or what you're doing right now is not a good idea. And I, as a son, had to stand up to that. So sometimes we have to have the honest talk with Dad, or he has to have the honest talk with Dad. It's not about just getting him to bend to where you're comfortable. And it feels like you're a bit of a caretaker, so you're trying to talk him into your comfort zone. That's a
Yes, and
that's a concern here for me as well.
yeah, I have some regrets of sharp words that I had with my father right before he died, and I don't want my husband to go through that. But
Okay, so
I hear what you're saying.
Excellent insight, Pam. Excellent, because you found yourself on the other side. But may I say, sharp words are inevitable, because death and dying is a horrible thing that is imposed upon the human race. It's miserable. And when you can't hear and you have dementia and you're impatient and you won't follow instructions, it's really, really hard. And so I'm just saying it is inevitable that sharp words could happen. Now, I went through a major transition of turning leadership over of an organization that I had created, 17, 18 years ago. But I made a decision to do it. So it hasn't been hard because I was the one that made the decision. Your husband is going to have to rise. Your father-in-law hasn't made that decision, really. It's been hard for him to relinquish control. And so your husband's in a very awkward spot because he's trying to run the farm, and it's not easy. But I think what is important is to have a sit down when your dad is lucid, your father-in-law is lucid. Sit down with him and just say, you don't want to retire, and you have two choices here. Let him do whatever he wants. Just let him go out and do whatever he wants every day, or ask him to listen and follow his son, and he needs more cooperation. And so I'm simply responding saying, I don't think the answer is for your husband just to acquiesce and give in all the time and assume that everything your father-in-law is doing is okay. He's going to have to he's going to have to be strong, and sometimes that means opposing Mom and Dad. Now, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I hadn't thought about.
I love how receptive you are, Pamela. My goodness, girl, I'm proud of you. That could have been very hard to hear. You have power over how you handle this, and you don't have power over what your husband does with this information. And so I think your work here is surrendering what is out of your control and seeking the serenity no matter what the men in your life are doing. And you can go then to your husband to offer, I have some ideas, I have some books that would be helpful. Do you want that from me or not? And he might say no, and it will be your job to accept his no. He probably needs purposeful grief, intentional walking into the grief of no longer having his father best friend as he used to be. And then he might have to learn how to have these difficult conversations that Milan is talking about, because he probably hasn't had to be assertive with his father before. And now he needs to be. And those are skills most of us don't have. We got to go out and learn them. So that would be the advice I would hope you offer if your husband wants advice from you.
great advice. Thank you so much.
No problem. And so, Pamela, we're actually going to give you a resource because you had mentioned something to Milan that I think is really important. You are carrying the pain and hurt over the way that the earthly relationship with your dad ended. And so I want to send you the Emotional Freedom Workbook, so that in there is a whole section on forgiveness and a whole section on resentment, and really applying that to ourselves when we make mistakes, when we do things and we're carrying, and you can't, at least here on earth, repair that relationship. But I trust that relationship was strong enough, both here in the now and in eternity, to hold and work through how you felt it was left for you. But I want you to be able to work through that process and work through your grief in that process. So we're going to send you a copy of the Emotional Freedom Workbook. Pamela, thank you so much for calling in. And speaking of emotional freedom, we have August 14th, the one-day workshop coming up. Super accessible. It's really easy to get because it's all online, and yet you get great work with phenomenal therapists as you're guided through a process of the places in which we get stuck, and we repeat these same dangerous and destructive patterns over and over to find a way through and a way out into more healing and health on the other side. We also have coming up June 12th, Every Man's Battle. You know, that 2020, we saw in the statistics that the use of pornography has actually skyrocketed, if that was even possible beforehand. Mm-hmm. And so just this past week, I've been working with a few individuals, and these are great guys. These are guys that by all measurements of faith and life and family, are showing up and doing the best they can, and yet they still are struggling with this issue. We call it Every Man's Battle for a reason. But this issue can have, and oftentimes does, devastating results. Every Man's Battle is online, June 12th. If you're a woman who's been impacted by that, we have the Restored Workshop. And that one is actually in person, June 25th through the 27th in Dallas. And we all need help with our marriages. Right, Milan? Mm-hmm. A lot of help with our marriages. I know I need help with my marriage. Intimacy and marriage. In person again, July 23rd through the 29th in Washington, D.C. So again, we have some great workshops coming up. We're here to help you and guide you through these transformative experiences so you can live in more freedom and health in Christ. And with that, we're going to go and help Janice out in Boston, Massachusetts. Janice, are you there?
Yes, I am.
How can we help you?
Hi, I have a question. My question is, I have a girlfriend who, when I'm telling her things that my daughter is doing that I disagree with, she always says, "Oh, that's none of your business. Mind your business. She's grown." So I say, "Yeah, she's grown chronologically, but she has not grown, mental health stuff, because I worked in a mental health clinic, and I know that, her brain has some developing to do."
Uh-huh.
So what should I do with my girlfriend? Because she keeps on telling me, mind your business, and I have grandkids that she does things in front of that she's teaching them how to be sneaky, how to lie. It's like it's awful. But I've learned to take my life back.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I've learned to take my life back and kind of put it at the foot of the cross.
Uh-huh.
But every now and then, I try to maybe get some things off my chest by talking to this friend, and I'm not going to talk to her about it anymore because she's just ridiculous. And she calls herself a Christian.
Well, yeah.
And I said, well, so how? Yeah, I said, so how could you think that this stuff is okay and you're a Christian?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? She's going with a guy.
Okay, so
that
hold on.
has
So Janice, so you're really disturbed about your friend's response to you. Is that right?
Yes.
And
Well, I'm not going to let it trigger me anymore.
okay, but it does trigger you. And that's really important, because here's the really interesting thing about triggers. Triggers are a trick. They're tricksters. Triggers tell us that there's something wrong with the other person. But that's not true. That's the trickster part.
Right.
Triggers actually tell us that there's something wrong with us. And so when we come back from the break, we're going to help you identify what that trigger is pointing to in your life and how you can move through it. We'll be back right after this.
I came into this thinking that my husband was the cause of many of our issues.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop is coming to Washington, D.C., July 23rd to the 25th.
But after learning about our attachment styles, I understood how our past hurts were playing into our present problems.
Join Steve Arterburn.
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to help people to grow more intimately together, and we believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Milan and Yerkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship. And then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
And New Life's group counselors will help you focus on the area that will benefit your marriage most. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Here at this workshop, we had our first ever conversation without yelling, blaming, and accusing.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of the 8 books in the Arterburn Wellness series, including Understanding and Loving a Person with Depression and Understanding and Loving a Person with Alcohol and Drug Addiction. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. We have on the phone Janice in Boston, Massachusetts. And Janice, you have this friend who really gets under your skin because you want her to show up in a very particular way as a Christian friend, and she has this adamant refusal to fit into your category of a Christian friend, and that's painful for you, as well as this experience that you're having with your daughter. But we talked about triggers, and Janice, this is important because I think we all deal with these triggers, and triggers really are a disproportionate reaction to the event that we're experiencing. Right? Because some people could be like, hey, this person gives me advice of mind your own business, and we can be like, no big deal. Yeah, we can actually even agree with them. But for you, it hits in a deeper thing. So, Milan, you had a question for her.
Well, Janice, there's 2 issues here. The first is you have a daughter who is, you said, struggling with mental health issues or maturity issues and developmental issues, which is a good insight because a lot of maturity issues have to do with developmental stages we go through or that we haven't successfully completed. But then you also have the other issue of your friend who is basically dismissing you and also telling you to mind your own business. So the question I had is, did you have a critical parent? A parent who is critical of you?
Yeah, my father.
Your father?
Yes.
Okay, so that then, and was he frequently critical of you?
Well, he was critical of all of us.
Oh.
He used to call us bad names.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Janice.
He was kind of bipolar because sometimes he would be real nice to us. He would take us to the beach. I know he was frustrated because he had 8 kids. And he was the only father in the neighborhood who was there. So I'm glad that he was there.
Janice, I agree. Go ahead.
He wasn't supportive. Like, his job came before his kids.
Right.
You know, he didn't come to any of my graduations. I graduated from a high school, from undergrad, master's degree too. And he didn't come. But by the master's degree, he was too old to come.
Oh.
But I went back to school at age 15 to get my master's degree.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, Janice.
He died the same year I graduated from my master's degree too.
Wow.
I'm so sorry. Hey, Janice, I'm a dad and a granddad also, and can I just tell you I'm proud of you?
Okay. I hope so. There's
Well,
so many people.
I really am. I think
Yeah.
you have done a wonderful job of working within your community, to work in the mental health field, to be cognizant of these things, to educate yourself. I'm really proud of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, you're welcome. And so when your friend criticizes you, it's going to really strike deep because you have a wound right there, as Chris was saying. And so we just want to make you aware of that, because she may not be the best.
He said the only reason I went back to college was because I didn't want to work. That's what he said. When I was 19 years old, I went to college. But he just wanted me to work and not get any further education because he didn't have a full education.
Janice, all these things that your father did to hurt you, even though he also had good sides to him, they are still very raw wounds. And so it makes so much sense that you are triggered by your friend, but you're probably also triggered by your daughter, because I don't think she values all the wisdom you bring to the table too. And so you must
Definitely doesn't.
Yes. So you're feeling rejection. You're feeling rejection and undervalued on all sides because you see the problem and you know the solution, but your daughter doesn't want to hear it from you either.
Like, and she teaches her kids to hate me.
So let's look.
My grand.
Janice, there's just conflict and pain all around you right now, and we're going to narrow in on what you can do about it, because so much of this is out of your control. Sister, you need help for these raw wounds that you have. And you've got the head knowledge, but I don't know that you've received the heart help that you need, because your dad's mistreatment of you feels like it just happened yesterday. So your own therapy would really help, and it would strengthen you so that what other people do doesn't have such a strong, jarring impact on you anymore. And there are 3 things I think you can do with your friend. You might try addressing the concern with her when it's not happening. You know, sometimes I just need you to listen to me, and I don't want you to give me advice back. Are you willing to do that for me? She may or may not be, but you got to ask for it in an assertive way. You might have to pick another person, because this friend may not be willing or capable of being that kind of a listener for you. And Janice, I think you do have to look for truth in what she says. You got to mind your own business, because it may be you're trying to push your wisdom too much on other people that are not receptive for it.
Right. That's why I'm reading Take Your Life Back.
Excellent.
Atta girl.
You know what? I want to add something to Take Your Life Back. I want to add You Are What You Think by Dave Stoop. And in fact, anyone who donates this month will get that same book. It is powerful, because how we think shapes what we do. The last thing I want to say is, Janice, get into some trauma work with a therapist. They can really help you through this. And we will be right back after this.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit its addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. Again, any gift of any amount here in the month of May, we will send you Dave Stoops' book, You Are What You Think. And so, I was actually listening to a podcast on the way down today, and just this is that most people don't realize they get to choose the script that they're listening to, the thoughts that they're listening to. Oftentimes we have what I call a reactive relationship to the things that go on our head, through our head, rather than a proactive approach. So in Mental Health Awareness Month, let's today be aware of the things that we're telling ourselves in our mind, because that is going to have a tremendous impact on our wellness or illness in our mind and in our brain and inside of us.
And Chris, to that, it also points to the fact that parents have such incredible power over their children in the formative years that many of the tapes we listen to, and Janice evidenced that earlier from Boston, is the tapes we listen to, even as grown adults, are the messages from our parents.
Yes.
They stick with us very deeply.
Absolutely.
And so we have to choose. There's this beautiful verse in Ephesians chapter 4 that says, put off the old man that isn't working well, and to put on the new man. And part of the old man is, well, what are the tapes I'm listening to?
Yeah.
What is the script I'm following every day in my head? And who put it there?
Yeah.
And do I want it to stay there?
Exactly. And we respect how difficult it is to change these things because maybe we have a negative script or a negative tape playing through our mind, and we have adapted to it. It's become our native tongue. So I just want you to know, when you are developing a different one, when you're Paul in another letter, when you are thinking about whatever is lovely, whatever is praiseworthy, whatever is trustworthy, that can feel foreign. And it's okay for it to feel foreign, just like if I were to live in France today and had to speak French. It'd be foreign until it became a little bit more native, and we want to pass down a native positivity to our kids.
Anything new is foreign.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything to add to that, Alice?
You boys are brilliant. I'm taking notes.
But she could say it in Spanish because
that is true.
She's fluent.
Yes.
And it's new to me, but it's old hat to her to be a fluent speaker of Spanish.
Absolutely. That is something that I have jealousy over. I know love is not jealous, but I don't love you there because I'm totally jealous that you are fluent in Spanish.
But she paid the price.
She did. She did the work.
Studied very hard and did the work. Yes,
absolutely.
She did.
Well, let's go to Akash in British Columbia. First-time caller. So, Akash, am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yes, sir. It is Akash.
Akash. Okay, awesome. How can we help you today?
So, I'm just thinking how to go about giving you, asking a question. So, and as a matter of fact, I'm thinking maybe I should give you a little input about myself, and then I'm at a sort of a dead end, or more like a street of making a decision where there are two ways. So I would appreciate if you would kindly give me a proper guidance in which road to take.
Okay, the one less traveled.
So
I'm just kidding. Go ahead. Yes.
So actually, I'll give you an introduction about myself as to I come from born in India in a Hindu religion. And I obviously somehow it turned out to be obviously, in a big family where brother and sisters, we have different thoughts and different ideas of lifestyle. So I had a different understanding of finding the truth myself. After my parents passed away, I decided to look for the truth as to what the reality of the life and, true, so to say, path to take in life rather than going into Hindu religion and all that. I came through certain relationships, didn't work out, but finally I met a girl from a different Indian religion, a Sikh religion. The guys, they wear turban. They're Punjabi people. So I got into a relationship with her, and making her understand, when we got along together, I understood where she was coming from and where I was.
So let me
with my
only because we do have to pay attention to time. So the best way to frame this is
I'll make it short.
Yeah, what's the issue, and then what's the question for us so we can help you?
The issue here is I understood her side of the family situation, and she understood my side of the family situation, so we got along fine. And it sort of turned out that we had a daughter after almost more than 5-7 years of our relationship. We finally were blessed with a daughter. And it's just unfortunately when she gave birth to a child and she started having a change in her lifestyle, she started getting all the...
Yeah, so what's the issue today that you're struggling with?
What's the crossroads in those two different paths?
We are now separated, and it's just that her past was kind of coming up all the time, and she was kind of blaming for certain issues that happened in her personal life before I met her, and she thought that all the men are the same in the Indian culture.
And I'm going to jump in. As you're separated today, what's your question for us? How can we help you with what's going on?
My question is that considering it's been almost 4 years now that I've been separated, I feel that somehow, I don't know if I should just move along and just find a new life. Or should I wait for God's miracle to happen?
Right now I wouldn't wait on a miracle. I would try to make a miracle happen. So what have you guys done? Have you done couples counseling? What have you done to address the pain points in your marriage?
No, unfortunately, it never came up to that conclusion because when I started mentioning that we do definitely need some sort of counseling and all that, she would not agree to it, and I did mention to her that she needs to go if she wants to go and get counseling for herself or whatever issues she had prior to meeting me.
So the question. So let me jump in. The question today is: do I stay in this marriage or do I go? Would that be correct? Is that the crossroads you're at?
Basically, yes. I'm just wondering whether I should just end this relationship or I should wait for her to finally realize.
Yeah. So, Milan, what do you think?
Yeah.
So how old is your daughter? Sounds like she's about 4 years old or something like that.
Well, we got separated when she turned 4.
Okay.
So I've been separated for almost 4 years
Got it.
now.
So she's 8.
She's going to be 8 years now.
Okay. And who does your daughter stay with?
She's with the mother.
Mm-hmm. And what percentage of the time is she with the mom?
Actually, all the time. Unfortunately, it just happened that we got separated back in, I'm living in British Columbia right now. I had always lived in British Columbia, and that's where I met together, and we had our baby girl. And due to a certain situation, we decided to move to a different location to start a new life in a better environment. We moved to Quebec in Montreal, and that is where our separation happened. So unfortunately, I felt like I was not given a chance to explain my situation, and practically justice was pretty much denied in a way, or not given to me, and not to listen to my side. It was like a one-sided.
So I have a couple questions for clarity here. Have you become a Christian believer?
Yes, ma'am. I have been.
And your
for the
wife
last almost 20
and your
years.
wife still is not, correct?
Well, she did believe in Christianity and all that, but unfortunately, after moving into Montreal,
so I think that
certain,
so I understand it's up in the air. I think we have to consider what is best for your daughter, and I'm so concerned that your daughter doesn't sound like she has access to you.
Right.
So we are coming to the break, but we want to come back with a couple of ideas of how to best protect your relationship with your daughter and have access to her. She needs you. She needs you in her life.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, so thank you for that. Yeah, we'll get back to you right after this break. Again, any gift in the month of May, and we will send you a copy of Dave Stoops' book, You Are What You Think. And that could be, again, in today's world, very, very helpful. We'll be right back.
I feel blessed to have had this opportunity for my needs to be met, connecting with other women who are fighting the same fight, hoping for healthy marriages and growing closer to the Lord on their journey.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
I feel encouraged and hopeful that even in my struggle, I am enough.
You will leave with hope, with a community of sisters ready to support you, and you will also leave with tools to move you forward on this journey.
Through the sharing in our small group, I realize that I am not alone.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Dallas, Texas, June 25th through the 27th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. New Life. That's 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. We're talking with Akash in British Columbia. And Milan, you had a couple of things for him that would be very helpful. What are those?
Well, I think, as Alice was just saying, and Alice, you can chime in here too, it's about having a relationship with your daughter. And it feels as though you weren't fairly represented. Now, I don't know anything about law or even the provinces of Canada, what the laws are that vary from province to province. But you're on the screen says that your wife was sexually molested by an uncle and has negative views toward, and then you reported that she has negative views about Indian men, that they are all abusive, and apparently some of that is then put on you, and that is a part of her complaint, and that is why she's gone. And you can do one of two things. You can choose to let her words prevail, and then she continues to have care of your daughter, or you can insist that you have a different perspective. You said this on the show. I didn't get a chance to share my perspective. Now, I have to believe there is some sort of legal representation that you should be able to find in Canada that would advocate for you and get you the time to see your daughter. And that may involve you moving again to be near her so that you can have that. But I think that's your first order. And that moving on, if you're in British Columbia, does that mean I'm dating, divorcing, dating, and developing a new family? Look, you got 8 more years to try to get into your daughter's life, and then she's, starting to drive a car and she's moving on. I would really pursue the relationship with your daughter right now.
It may not be in your.
I would like to. May I say something?
Go ahead.
Really, really quickly. We got to move on. So really quickly.
Yes, very quickly. Very quickly, I'll give you information. As much as I wanted to, and I still want to, but somehow the Quebec Legal Justice Society does not. It was just practically, like I said, it was justice. Sometimes they say delayed is practically denied.
Okay, so let me.
It was ignored.
So hold on.
It was ignored and it was denied.
So let me just say this. So you have made a decision over and over and over and over again, and it's actually indecision. And so what we're encouraging you to do, so whether you stay with your wife or whether you divorce her, we're asking you to do whatever to stay with it and to take more legal action on your side to continue to build a relationship with your daughter. She needs you. And so whatever the law says, that's where you want to get legal representation on your side. So seek out a really, really good family lawyer in your area to help you walk through this, because I believe that they will actually be able to give you better guidance than what we can on the tangible things that you can do to reunite with your daughter.
You're going to have to fight. Even though the law says something.
I totally agree with you. I'll have to fight, but unfortunately, there is more to this issue.
Of course.
Seems, because
so one.
Yeah, and I don't want to make it a lengthy call.
Sure.
No, that's okay. So hold on. So actually, we're going to send you a copy of Take Your Life Back.
Mm-hmm.
And what that's going to help you do, again, is release the things that you can't control and then take control of the things you can. And one thing I want you to look at eliminating from your vocabulary is the 2 words, but unfortunately. Because but unfortunately has you stuck. And it tells you that there isn't opportunity. But what I want you to replace that with is this, and I can. So instead of but unfortunately, you're going to replace it, but then I can, or then I can do this. And so what that does is it teaches your brain that you don't have to sit on your hands, that there's something that you can do even in the midst of these really painful and seemingly impossible situations. So, Akash, thank you so much for giving us a call and letting us help you walk through this very, very difficult and challenging situation in your life. Let's try to get one more in. Let's go to Orlando in Glendale, California. So, Orlando, we don't have a whole lot of time left in our show today. So if you can give us a question, a quick snapshot, and we'll help you the best we can.
Okay, thank you. So my question is, the Bible says that if the unbeliever wants to leave, to let him leave. I'm talking about a marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And what about if the unbeliever wants you to leave? Should I leave or what?
What's going on? What's going on in your? So you're married and your wife wants you to leave. What's going on?
She complains that I'm childish, that I don't take care of her financially, although I pay all the bills in the house.
Mm.
And she says that I'm ugly, fat.
Oh wow! So
she doesn't love me anymore.
So she's mean. Sounds like she's mean.
She's mean.
Yeah.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And now she wants you out of her life.
Well, all the time she's been saying the same. All the years.
She's been saying the same thing?
Yes, but she never acts on it.
Oh.
She wants me to leave, but she doesn't do anything. I've told her, if you want this, why don't you take the initiative? But she never does.
So what's the question for us?
Well, it's hard for me to say if she really wants it for me to leave, or if this is another episode where she gets mad and she talks about it.
Well, I want you to notice that everything you're thinking about is what she is doing or not doing, saying or not doing, not saying or not saying. So what we want you to be able to do is take control. It seems like a theme today. Take control of your thoughts, your feelings, and your side of the relationship. So Alice, what can he do?
Well, Orlando, I do think you're in this pattern of waiting and then reacting, and you may not have the know-how to respond and decide what you will or will not tolerate. And so whether or not you leave or your wife leaves, your job here is to build up your assertive muscles. Your job is to start to protect your heart by setting boundaries to protect yourself from your wife's treatment of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Orlando, what is happening is I believe that your wife has struggled with a lot of her own painful past, and that you happen to be in the way of her pain, if that makes sense. But what I would love, I'm going to set up the idea. What I would love is for you both to experience healing. Now, of course, we can't make her do that, but I'm wondering if you say, hey, I will move out on one condition. We're going to have to wait a couple months, but I will move out after we attend the Intimacy and Marriage workshop. Just give me one more chance, one more thing. And then if we decide to go our separate ways after that, okay. But let's give it one more shot. We're going to send you a copy of How We Love. And that will really help you understand what's going on underneath the surface on your relational struggles, and especially the struggles in the relationship. Orlando, thank you so much for calling in. Everyone, thank you for listening to us today. And if you need help, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And we wish you a great, great weekend.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.